I've had my good amount of experiences working in fast food chains, and I mean, don't get me wrong, stacking $30 worth of free food on your 30-minute break is pretty nice if you ask me. But honestly, sometimes being a fiend for free food ain't enough for some of the stuff I deal with on a day to day, especially since my first job at McDonald's was 35 minutes away from my house. Definitely not worth the $9 an hour they're paying me. But being a broke and impatient teenager, I just took whatever I could find. And apparently, they were running the same method, so they hired me on the spot. And on the first day I came into work, they put me in one of the easiest positions, which was customer service. And my manager comes in, introduces me to the staff, gives me a quick tutorial where things are in the place, gives me a warm welcome, then immediately vanishes from sight, and I'm left all by myself at the cash register. So, am I going to get training or something? While I was trying to figure out what this strange technology was in front of me, this one girl named Yaz, who was supposedly in my guide for the register, gave me a quick tutorial. And I kid you not, it felt like 5 seconds. She basically glossed over half of the important information and then went back to whatever she was doing. The second she was done explaining, we got hit with a rush. People began flocking to the register, blurting out orders like they were training for the Guinness World Record. And the funniest part was when Yaz actively got upset at me for asking for help, even though it was my first time ever being a cashier. You gotta love it when you're expecting to know stuff that you're never taught. Yeah, I had some really choice words that I wanted to slur her with at that moment, but I decided to thug it out like a real G. But the worst part was when the customers decided to get all pissed just because I didn't know what a $3 bundle was, even though I just got to the store. And after Yads helps me with the order, like she's supposed to do, she acts all sassy. The bundle is literally a McDouble with a small fry. At this point, they're just doing it for the love of the game. They really expect me to know what the heck a bundle is on my first day. And why is there still not someone here to help me? And this trend carried on with every other new worker that I saw that joined ever since. They give them a 2-second tutorial, then throw them into the wilderness like, alrighty, get to work. Don't die on us.
Look at Randy Orton slithering.
At that point, you just had to learn on trial and error because literally nobody was going to give you basic help or advice needed. Like, I legit didn't get official training until like a month in. And at that point, I already knew what to do on the register. And these managers were so butt, bro. Like, I didn't know how crap of managers I had until I moved to another restaurant. Like, the general manager was literally a middle aged lady who honestly I didn't respect just for the fact that she actually was on Snapchat. I didn't know how old they were, but two of my managers were on Snap. And I kept on seeing them pop up my Snapchat follow recommendations. I ended up cringing so hard at their PFPs that I ended up having to delete the whole entire app in general. But the GM was a fiend. I always saw her on her phone doing God knows what, and she was always nagging. I know as a manager, you gotta manage the place, but dog, the way she did it was just annoying, and everybody agreed on that fact. The legit second a rush ends and you dare decide to even think about chilling for a second, she gonna tell you to complete like 50 tasks. Mind you, she telling you all of this just to go back to her office and scroll TikTok for the next 5 hours. That's how she's literally in the building for 1 or 2 hours and then just dips randomly for the rest of the day. And I knew that the store managers were pissed because one of them named Coy, the other manager that I didn't like, always complained about some Hillary just makes us suffer. She's never here when we get rushed. I have to carry this whole store by myself. She never here for 80 hours of the week like I am. Just bashing her whole name across the whole store. It was pretty odd because these two I thought were really tight like that since they both use Snapchat and were pushing 30. But I digress. And I never really liked specifically Coy or Hillary as managers. The other ones were pretty chill. But this one Mexican manager who kind of reminded me of a Abuela, probably because of the fact that she was an Abuela, was one of the more motherly-ish managers. That sounded kind of weird. She was like our grandma. Nah, that still sounds weird. Well, she was like a strict immigrant parent. But that still didn't excuse her from committing some heinous actions. It was almost every single day that she would keep her workers in, like me and my brother, for either an hour or multiple hours past our shift ending, and would force us to stay until she realized I was illegal and resorted to begging. And one of the times, she told my brother to call me since she didn't have my phone number and told him if he could ask me to come into work since they're low on staff that day.
Pere, 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 pere. Pere, 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 pere. Gotcha.
Yo, what's up? Yo, Maria was wondering if you could come in to work on her shift since we're low on staff. Coming into work in that hellhole on my off day? was definitely not on my schedule. I ain't coming in knowing dang well she gonna hold us in there captive for an extra 4 hours while I'm chilling watching some Berleezy playing Mario Party with the bros. But also, the Mexican workers actively ate food anytime they got the chance. And the funniest part was that they were trying to hide that they were snacking on the job. Like I'd be chilling near the fry station, and they would just come over and snatch one of the large fries that I made and stuff it into their apron, glance at me real quick, and then start munching away, trying to walk quickly to the back, acting all sneaky like I'm gonna steal it back. Gee, if I was working the whole day without a break, I'd do the same thing, which was another thing that Marie would do to her workers. One time, my older brother came back from work complaining that he had to work a 12-hour shift with no break. Now, I already knew that this was Marie's doing. I didn't even have to ask. But the worst part is that Marie would be chatting with her Mexican colleagues when there's downtime, and she would tell me to go clean up the bathroom. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather do anything else than clean up those dirty, disgusting bathrooms because of the smell it emits from, no offense, the women's bathroom specifically. The women's bathroom specifically creates traumatic experiences. Like before this, I didn't know what people were talking about women smelling like fish. But now, yeah, nah. Now I know way too much. I'd be coming in like, all right, the men's bathroom wasn't all that bad. Still smelled. And idiots put doo-doo toilet paper in the small trash cans in the stalls, but it didn't smell too bad. Anyways, now time for the honestly, my first job taught me a lot about the workplace and gave me a general idea on what to expect from these lower end jobs. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it a solid 6 out of 10 on a McLoving it scale, but I'm sure there's probably worse. Would I recommend it? Kinda depends on if the person working there could deal with the phone addicted bosses and mutated air polluted bathrooms. But to be honest, there was way, way more that went down at that McDonald's. But that's a story for another day. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed my yap session. If you like content like this, make sure you like and subscribe to give me good feedback. And with all that being said, take care.